Awesome. Okay, so November 1st already. This is crazy. This year is just spinning by, and before we know it, Christmas is going to be here. So, a couple of things that I have to share with you before we get into our fun stamping. First thing is fitting florets. You're going to love it all week long on my blog every single day, twice today. I've been posting cards because I cannot get enough of this beautiful, beautiful collection. So that is now available to you as a customer. And I'll share more as we go down onto the desk view, but this collection is $134.75 here in Canada. You get 2 stamp sets, a die set, that's gorgeous. You get 12 by 12 paper, and even some gold adhesive embellishment. So it's awesome. You guys, you're going to want to get this one. And on that note, for anybody who purchases this bundle collection through me, I'm going to send you a free gift. So I've got a 9-card tutorial. I collaborated with a few other demonstrators, and we've each created a tutorial to create a 9-card bundle that I'm going to send to you for free when you purchase your collection with me. So there's some more ideas that you're going to get to create along with. Okay. This whole technology thing sends me for a loop, you guys, okay? It just, when it doesn't work, it's really annoying. All right. So what else is new? So we've got a couple of clubs with openings, and I've got a brand new class I just released today, open for registration, Christmas cards, fun fold, Santa. It's got all the things. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out on my blog. So createwithbirdsnest.ca. There's a classes and clubs link, and it's listed in there. Registration comes, there's a registration button, and you get taken to the Stampin' Up shopping cart filled with all the things you need for the class. I ask that if you take anything out and you want to replace it, you just make sure the dollar value maintains the same. Everything in the cart will be required for the class. So make sure you have all the things, but I do know that some of you shoppers have already purchased those, and you may want to sub out the designer paper for something else or whatever. So just make sure the dollar value is the same, please. And then I will send you the cards and the PDFs, or maybe you want to come stamp with me here in person. Okay, so that's one class opens today. Deadline for that one is the 14th of November, and the in-person class for all you local peeps is on the 24th of November at 7 p.m. The other clubs I have, Happy Hostess Club. I've got 3 openings, actually no, 2 openings left for that one. So it's a monthly club. We all get together to stamp, make some cards. You can join from anywhere in Canada. If you're not local, then you'll be stamping virtually with instructions and videos. If you're local, you'll be coming here to my house, and we'll be stamping together in my craft studio and having some fun. And everybody in the club will have access to the PDFs and the videos. So if you can't come one month, don't worry, you'll still get to make the cards. Minimum order is $35 every month. And one of those months, you're going to get to be the hostess and get all those free stamping rewards. So it's a win-win, and it's a super fun way to build your collection of stamping goods slowly. But by the end of the year, you've got a whole bunch to craft with. So it's awesome. That's how I started. That's what got me hooked to Stampin' Up. So I'm really passionate about this type of club because it's just the best. It gives you so many ideas and opportunities. Awesome. The other one is my Stamp of the Month Club. So again, there's a few openings for that one. And this month, our stamp is decorated with happiness. So it's a fun, whimsical Christmas stamp. And you can add on, of course, the dies if you want to make it into the bundle. That, I think, ladies, is all. So, so much going on, so much going on. And my mind is still just reeling from all my news today and all the lovely things that have been happening in the Bird's Nest Designs world. Newsletters are going out every Tuesday. So if you are getting my newsletters, great. Let me know what you think of them. If you aren't, then head on over createwithbirdsnest.ca and subscribe. And you can also get my blog post into your email every day as well. Now, who wants to stamp? I do. Okay. I'm going to change the camera down to, if I can find the button. There we go, desk view. All right, so here we have the Fitting Florets collection. So as I mentioned, $134.75 here in Canada. I just gotta make my screen. Give me 1 minute here. This screen is bugging me. I can't see your comments. I can't see who's watching. I really can't see anything. But I'm afraid to touch anything because things go awry. There we go. Okay. I think that's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so here's the collection. These are the 2 stamp sets that you'll get if you order the whole collection. So framed florets, we're going to use a few of the images in here today. And this is the framed and festive. And you guys, this one is awesome. Just check out those amazing fonts and those sayings for Christmas. They're great for the outside of your Christmas cards, inside of your Christmas cards. It's really a wonderful set. This one is cling, so it's the red rubber. This one is photopolymer. Okay. Now, also in the collection, you get the amazing framelets, or sorry, dies. So these are the dies. Look at them all. And there's 1, 2, 3 gorgeous frames. There's some accent elements, which we're going to be using tonight. There's stamps that coordinate with the floral images in this stamp here. And there's just so many options. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I'm just going to set those aside because we'll be using those later. And then these are the cute little embellishments. So these are the gold adhesive backed swirls. So they're already sticky, which is wonderful. And the designer paper. So I didn't bring the whole paper pack to share with you, but we are going to be using some of it today. And so you'll get to see some of that. Okay. I really hope this video is working. Now it's giving me some weird error message. Oh, okay. Technology today is just not my friend. Okay, let's stamp. Let's forget about the technology. Let's just stamp. So we're going to start with, let me just set this aside. We're going to start with a gray granite card base. So we're just going to fold this. This is 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, we're just going to fold that down the middle on the score line. Give it a burnish with our bone folder. Okay, gray granite is a really nice neutral. It balances a lot of colors really well. So I've been gravitating towards it a little bit more than I usually do, but it's really a great color. The next thing we want to do is we're going to attach a piece of evening evergreen. Okay, and that is going to go. Now, please tell me that I grabbed the right adhesive. I'm sure hoping so. Oh yes, okay. Maybe I grabbed the empty one again. We're just going to keep that one stored upside down in the cup that it stays in, so that doesn't keep happening. Oops. Okay, so we've got that attached here. And then we're going to take a piece of this gorgeous designer series paper. Okay, so this is the Fitting Florets paper. I love this pattern. It's nice and subtle. The back is, look at that, pink, right? So this is a really pretty pink as well. Those are just going to be attached. So we can go ahead and attach that as well. Okay, bear with me while I go grab a different adhesive. I think I just grabbed the wrong one. Okay, here we go. This should be better. A little bit of a hot mess over here at Bird's Nest Designs this evening. Okay, so we're going to attach this here. The front of our card. All right. So now what we're going to do is take those beautiful dies that I showed you, and we're going to create a frame using this guy here. Now, if you follow my blog, you will have already seen cards featuring both of these other frames, and they are beautiful as well. This one is very, very neutral, very versatile because it doesn't have the frills, it doesn't have hearts. It's just a really, really nice basic frame. So what I've done, I did this ahead of time just because I don't always like die cutting on my surface because it shakes everything in. So what I've done is I've cut it out twice. So I've cut it out once with Evening Evergreen cardstock. So when you cut it out, you're going to get both pieces because there's a cutting blade on the outer edge and on the inner edge. So when you cut it, you get the frame, but then you also get the negative oval from the inside. Okay. I cut it out again using designer series paper. So again, this is from the Fitting Florets, and we got this nice subtle soft succulent design on this side. And on the back, we've got these gorgeous blue and green florals. This was on my card I featured this afternoon in my blog. So if you are loving that color scheme, head on over and check it out. It's a beautiful birthday card. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to take, first of all, we're going to take our Evening Evergreen oval and we're going to emboss in white. So I'm going to use my Embossing Editions kit, and we're just going to give this with our Emboss Buddy. We're going to use white embossing powder. We're going to use the Versamark ink, and we're going to use May This Season Be Filled with Peace and Joy from the Framed and Festive Stamp Set. So give that a stamp. So I've just using the Versamark, which if you're familiar with embossing, you know it's just a clear, sticky ink. Okay, and then I'm going to take my tray here. I'm actually going to hold it with my reverse tweezers here. Bring the tray in. I'm just going to sprinkle my white embossing powder over top. Just knocking off the excess. Sometimes just a gentle little flick from the back helps too. And then I'm going to set that aside. The tray is really great because it's caught all that extra embossing powder, and then I can funnel it back into the container once I'm ready. Okay, so now I'm just going to heat emboss that. And excuse me for a sec while I just turn this emboss gun on. Should have warmed it up ahead of the time for the video because sometimes it takes, there we go, it takes a little bit to get it heated up. So these scissors are great because it stops you from burning your fingers. Okay, so there we've got our emboss sentiment. I'm just going to set all that embossing tools off to the side. So first thing we're going to do is take our oval that we've just embossed, and I'm going to center it right in the middle of the card. Oh my goodness. I went and got the new one and I picked up the old empty glue yet again. Okay, so we're just centering that in the middle of the card. Or middle-ish is good enough. Okay. There we go. And now I want to take the frame. Now see all the detail and those lines and the embossing in this frame? So that was just by running it through once. It cuts and it embosses, so it's really awesome. And we're going to just put that frame right over top of the oval. I should have put a bit more glue maybe under there. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue around the edge. Stick that on top. Okay. So now I want to decorate this up. And what I'm going to do is I've got already cut ahead of time. I cut out some of these accents. So see this one right here, this die is wonderful. It doesn't coordinate with the stamp set, so it's not going to cut out any stamped images, but we're going to use it for accents. So I've cut out 2 of them. So here they are in white. Isn't that beautiful? So I've got 2. Now one I'm going to just glue. Again, I got to just get that one right out of here. Okay. So I'm just going to glue this one right down the spine of the branch here. And that's going to come up way up high on this oval on the side here, making sure I'm not covering any of the words that we just embossed. And I'm just going to set that like that. Okay, so we've got that one attached. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to use this one, but I want to cut it apart because I want to have a few little sprigs coming out this side, but the majority over here. So let's cut this apart. I'm going to come in here with my scissors. I do this a lot. I kind of make the dies into what I want them to be when they're like this. So I've just cut it apart there. You can see how I've just kind of cut along that bend. Okay. And then we'll glue right along there. And I'm just going to bring this one up off sort of the same like that. Just hold it in place for a minute. And then this one, I'm just going to stick over here off to the side. Okay. So we're going to stamp, and the image we're going to use today on the card, the floral image we're going to use, is this one right here. So this is one stamp with the 2 flowers and all the foliage around it. And we're going to stamp it on white with Memento. So just stamp that right in the middle. Isn't that a beautiful image? I love it. I really do love this collection. Okay. Now there is a coordinating die right here. So that is going to get cut out on the die cutting machine. Now I went ahead and cut that out ahead of time. Again, I didn't want to be die cutting while I was on video. So now we're going to use some Stampin' Blends, and I've got my Soft Succulent right here. I've got my Evening Evergreen and my Gray Granite. We're going to start with the Evening Evergreen, and we're just going to color. Now I'm using solely the dark. I'm not going to worry about shading. We're just going to use the dark and color in just a few of these thinner leaves here and here, the ones that are with like what looks like the holly berries. Okay. And then the ones over here on the end. So any of these thinner there we go. Then I'm going to use my Soft Succulent. Now this one I am going to use both shades, dark and light. So starting with the dark. Hello Carol, welcome. I'm just seeing your comment now. Having a little bit of technical issues on my end with the comments, so welcome. So just giving this like a kind of a quick outline, just to add a little bit of that dark succulent in there. And then we're going to come in with the light succulent and just shade that in. Okay. So now we have the flowers. Now I'm going to leave these as whitish flowers, and you notice I said ish because I'm going to give it a little bit of shading using the Gray Granite. So the center of the flowers, I'm just going to give quite a bit of the dark, and then come back in again with some of the light to fill that in. So we've got the center of the flowers nicely colored and dark. And then I'm going to flip to the marker end. Now, I don't use this end very often, but for something like this, I'm just going to really lightly trace over the outer edge of all the lines. So I'm basically like tracing the lines of the stamp set. Okay. This is just really, now I have a funny story to tell you guys in a little bit about when I originally created this card and how many bloopers. So maybe it's in the card. Maybe it's this card is bad luck. I have some bloopers each time I do it. But yes, funny story. Okay, let's just finish this first, and then I'll get to that. Okay, I'm just about done. Okay, so we've got that nice and highlighted, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do for coloring. So if I bring that up to the camera, you can see that it's a white flower, but the highlighting of that gray granite just really, really makes it pop. So we're going to use that, and we're going to put that right at the base of our oval, just like that. And we're going to use Stamping Dimensionals, of course. You all know that I like those dimensionals. So just a couple is good. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so that is nicely tucked up there. Now I want to add some leaves. So what I decided to do was, there are leaf dies in here. I'll show you those. They're here. But when they cut out like the outer line, so it's not a solid image, and I really wanted a nice solid leaf to pop up in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut out a few of the leaves. Now this one is a partial leaf, but for what I'm wanting to do, it's going to work just perfectly. So don't ever overlook these partial images when you're using your designer paper for cutting out. And you can even use like partial florals. For instance, with this one, some of the dies coordinate with the DSP. So if you have a partial one, you could still use a die, cut it out, and then fit it into like the inside of your card or something, right? So here, like, see this? This is a partial leaf, but when I tuck it in there, nobody would even know. It's perfect. We might be better on this side. Anyway, you can just kind of fuddle around with it until you get it to where you want it. And we're going to cut out one more. This one, I do want it to be a full leaf. So let's just pick, doesn't matter. I'll pick this one here. I'm just going to cut that one out really quick. I told you this card has all the things. We've heat embossed, we've colored, now we're fussy cutting, we've die cut, and we still have a few steps left to go. Okay. So I'm going to put one dimensional in the back of both of these leaves. My dimensional, there we go. The backing is sticking to them and not coming off very nicely. So let's take one there. We'll stick one on the back there. We'll just tuck that in, kind of like so. You see that was the partial leaf, so you can't even tell. So don't waste those images because you can always use them somewhere. Tuck that one in up there, like so. Actually, you know what? I think it would look better. Oh, is it too late? I'm thinking it might look better if it was down this. Oh, there we go. Just kind of like that. Okay. There we go. Now that is almost the front of our card finished. So what I want to do is let's go ahead first and let's create something on the inside. So we've got our insert. So we'll go ahead and we'll glue that in. Now, if you want to spruce up the inside of your card, which I really enjoy doing, then let's go ahead and let's just quickly stamp this. Same floral image, let's just put it here in the corner. Okay, now of course you could go ahead and color that same as you did on the front and create a really matching inside and outside. So I will do that, but you've already seen me color it once. You don't need to watch me color it again. So that is going to be that card. We still have these frames left, so we could do something reverse on a separate card. So never throw away your extra dies. The last step is, this is where my funny story comes in. So we're going to add some bling, but we're going to do it a different way than usual. So usually I would grab my pearls, rhinestones, you know, something like that, and I would stick them on. What I decided to do for this card was to use my pearlized enamel effects. I want to show you guys how awesome these are and how they work. So when I set out to design this card, and I grabbed what I thought was my pearlized enamel effects, and I started making my dots, as I'm going to do right now. So you're just giving this a gentle squeeze and then kind of a twist. So there we've created like our own pearl. See that? So anyway, funny story. I was doing this and I was creating my dots and not really realizing anything was awry until it was done. And then I thought, well, this does not look like pearls. This looks really runny. It wasn't going nice like this is. So I thought, what the heck is the matter? So I checked out the side because I wanted to see what I was supposed to do, to see if there was instructions. And lo and behold, but I had my snow puff paint. So I had mistakenly made my pearls out of puff paint. Okay, so let's see if we can fix that. So I then proceeded to get my heat gun and puff the paint. And then it did not look nice, guys. It didn't. It was not good. So I took my take a pick tool and I took the spatula end here and I scraped it all off and I got rid of it. And then I very, very carefully came back in with my pearlized enamel effects. And I started making all these beautiful pearls just like I am now. And I made sure they were right over top of where the puff paint was so you couldn't tell. I was salvaging that card. Anyway, long story short-ish. As I was finishing up my last dot pearl, I decided that I wanted one more up at the top. When I proceeded to do that, I got my whole sleeve throughout the whole thing and smudged all these beautiful pearls. But I wasn't ready to give up on my card quite yet. So again, I got out my tool and I took that spatula end and I scraped all that enamel effects. It hadn't dried yet, so it came off. And I carefully wiped the spots of the designer series paper where these pearls were. Got it all nice and clean. And then I gave up and I decided, and here I'll show you, I decided I was just going to add pearls. So I just went and got my adhesive pearls and I stuck them on the spots. But this is the card that I did manage to salvage through all of those bloopers. So don't ever give up. Don't ever think something isn't perfect, because there's always a way to improvise. So again, this time I decided I do want another pearl, but you notice I changed the card. I spun the card and I didn't reach over it. So I think we maybe need 3 up here actually. So are you guys checking this out? This is pretty cool. You can just make these dots. Now this, when you purchase this, it's in the mini catalog, you get white, red, and black. So great options to make your own embellishments. So there we go. There is our elegant card with all the things. Yes, Carol, I was able to salvage the card. I wasn't giving up on it. So there we go. That's our card for tonight. Let me see if I can get back to here. There we go. I'm back to say goodbye. I'm going to switch my camera away from my face here. There we go. So thank you, everybody. I hope that the video streamed okay on your end. On my end, it kept freezing and it was a little bit glitchy. So thanks, Bev. It is a great card. And I love, as I've mentioned probably more than once, that I love this fitting Florets collection. I have shared a number of cards on my blog already, and I have more coming this week. So earlier today, I'll see if I can pull it up here. This morning, I posted this card here. You guys see that? So have yourself a merry little Christmas. This one is with stamped and colored. The inside sentiment is embossed with gold embossing powder. And then I've got this fun twine in behind and made it a really fun floral Christmas card. Okay, it's not poinsettias, but we can have any kind of flowers at Christmas. And then secondly, later today I was in a blog hop and I created this birthday card, which I love. So here's a wishes for a beautiful birthday. See all that layered designer series paper? These beautiful flowers are cut right from the designer series paper. So there was no coloring, no stamping, it just solely cut. And then of course I decked out the inside of it and celebrate with another strip of designer paper. So you can check out those in more detail. There's a make it section, let's make it, on both posts so you can see step by step how to create those cards. And I have more to share all week long. I'll be creating with this beautiful set all week. So remember, if you'd like to purchase the fitting florets and you choose to purchase it through me on my online store or by calling me directly, I do have a 9-card tutorial that I will send you, a bundle. It's a PDF, so you can print it out and create 9 different cards. None of those have been featured on my blog, so they're all exclusive to this tutorial and only to my customers who purchase the Fitting Florets collection. So it's definitely something to consider if you really like this stamp set. All right, ladies, thank you for watching. I appreciate that you're here, and I will see you again next Tuesday. I'll be back with, I think next week I'm going to be sharing some more Christmas cards, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Christmas is going to be here before we know it. So join me 7 p.m. next Tuesday. And until then, have a wonderful week. I hope you get some time to do some stamping, and we'll chat real soon. Cheers.